Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a TvZ. It is between MilkToto, the red Terran player in the bottom position, and in the right position we do have AT's Censure. Censure is the blue Zerg. Now obviously the map is Antigua Shipyards, they are in close positions, that'll be fun, and well, what can we expect? To be honest, I think from Censure we should see a very enthusiastic game, because they are both super hyper in the chat right there. But we should see a 15 hatchery out of Censure, out of Toto 1 Rax command center, almost guaranteed. Although I don't think a command center first, it'll be too risky on this map. It is such an open space to try and defend, so 1 Rax CC almost certainly. Then Censure, will he take the third early? Will he try and do some 2 base pressure? Third 2 base pressure, who knows, we'll wait and see. Obviously though, it'll be a 16 pool after that 15 hatch, which I don't think I mentioned. Now guys, what else do we have to think about in this matchup? Well, it's really up to Toto. Lots and lots of Terran players I've been casting recently are favouring Mech. The reason they're liking Mech is they go for that 1 rack CC, they then get out Reactor Hellions and a Banshee, and are like, lol, I like harassing you, little Zerg player, and the Zerg's all like, I've got to defend and not lose too many drones, during which time the Terran player's just like, Mech. Thors, tanks, gonna build them up, and it really means that the Zerg player is forced back to defend lots against all these different types of harassment, while Mech is in its weak stage, which is when it is non-existent. Then of course the Mech force starts building up, and really at the point that the harassment's over, the Terran players are really quite comfortable, usually at anywhere between about 120 and 150 supply, and that is when it gets quite difficult for Zerg to really start attacking that Mech force. Obviously it's about balancing up. If there's lots of Thors, you need lots of Roaches. If there's siege tanks, well obviously you don't want so many Roaches, you want everything else, preferably Broodlords if you've tech that high, because obviously that forces the unsiege due to the Broodlings and the self-splash damage. Now there goes down the spawning pool. Taking a look here, we do have the command center morphing into an orbital command. We should see any second that next command center. I have no idea what they are saying right there, but I'm sure it is fun. Now looking around, obviously that Overlord, sad Overlord, scouted the wrong way. We should, oh wow, a reactor coming down. That is a really fast reactor. That reactor is really quite quick. So I'd be interested to see how that's used. Obviously it could just be for a couple more Marines, maybe a bit of earlier pressure coming out here from Toto. It was my fault for not noticing that refinery, which was absolutely terrible, and I bow my head in shame for that. There goes down the command center though, so we're back into a slightly more normal track, just slightly later than maybe expected, but will allow an additional bit of pressure to be applied. We do have the extractor coming down there, so obviously for the Zerg that'll probably most likely be used for speed. For those Zerglings, we do have the complete wall off getting formed there. Other than that, not too much going on, so I'm going to just use this opportunity to say, guys, if you do like my casting, then please subscribe. I get new top level games up every single day of the week. Leave a cool comment as well and like the video, that would be amazing. Anyway, 2 Marines coming up, we do have Factory, and well, that's going to mean Hellions, and Hellions means hopefully for the Terrans some fried drones. For the Zerg it means a loss of map dominance almost certainly, but these 2 Zerglings, they are coming over. They know now where the Terran is. That Overlord's like, hey, no base here guys, and the Zerglings are suddenly sent to try and find out what could be going on now. If we take a quick look, obviously nothing else really significant happening in Toto's base. For the Zerg speed coming out, that's pretty much it. The 2 queens on their way. There's already 1 out. The second 2 queens, that means 1 specifically for spreading creep, which is smiley face. That is good. Very good, especially here, because you can spread that creep straight down to your opponent's base and they'll be like, lol, what? I didn't call for creep anytime soon. A starport coming down, so this is really now looking like we will be having an awful lot of Hellions and Banshee. Those 2 Marines are getting finished up, so this is a great defensive position actually for Toto as well. Now Censure, which is really hard to say, is really just happy getting down a spine quarter, should start spreading creep out. Hasn't joined up his natural main though, which makes me sad face a little bit. You want to be doing that, guys, because that is your #1 priority. Joining your bases with creep, it's essential. Now this SCV, what are you poking around for? Were you just checking that third? I think you were. Anyway, looking down here, we do of course have the barracks over there. The starport is finished. A medevac coming out, so not Banshee. What is going on? This whole build is like blowing my mind in terms of not being the conventional. Third base coming out for Central there, as well as getting up his second and third gas of the natural. Now, those of you who don't know, you take the gas and the natural before the main, just because then if any scouts come in, they're like, oh, is this 3, 4? gas? I don't know. It could be anything from 2 and 4 if they haven't scouted in the main in that first gas there. So that's always annoying. The third base needs to be protected on Antigua Shipyard. That isn't too hard to do defending that base. Now, we do, of course, have those Hellions coming in, and we're going to have a drop. This is really nice. I like you lots this play, because these Hellions, they're going to be frustrating down at the front, and then suddenly you're going to have an awful lot of damage output coming in behind you. But there's an Overlord there. That Overlord could ruin this day, because it's going to scout the drop, and that means that suddenly the Zerg is going to know everything that's going on. Will we see any units pull back, or will the medevac sneakily get through as just a tiny little red dot? It looks like it's going to sneak in. It's got in there successfully. The Queen is there now. What is going to go on? All the drones are getting pulled back. Oh, this is dangerous. But suddenly all the Zerglings are coming. But Hellions out the front. What are you going to do? You need to call Ghostbusters or something in this situation, because you have just got too much to handle. It looks like the Hellions are getting so many drones. Meanwhile, the Marines are just chilling there. They're like, the Hellions are having all the fun. We don't need to attack anything. We're just going to chill here. Lair is, of course, done. That shouldn't be able to get taken out. But how many workers were killed there? 13. That is quite a significant number at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, an Overlord is going to get picked off. That is going to be annoying, if nothing else. And of course, once those Queens get over, we should see the Marines just get picked up. The Zerglings are surrounding, and now that medevac should hightail its way out of there. But those Queens have good damage output, but the medevac will get away. Now, looking at the worker count, it is now 38 to 35 in the Terran's favour. The third base for the Terran is nearly complete, but not floated down yet. We do have siege mode on the way, so this is not going to be mech. It's going to be the much more conventional siege tank, Marine, medevac style that is so staple in TvZ. And that harassment was just great, like really good, getting 13 kills. In terms of the loss tab as well, the Zerg lost more, which is great anyway, but especially when you consider most of those losses were in the form of workers. That's unfun times. You do have pathogen glands on the way. That's really early infestation pet, and that's because there's really nothing else. It was just drones, Zerglings. There wasn't even upgrades as far as I can see. I don't even think an evolution chamber has been brought down yet. The drone resupplying only just really coming into effect now, with, well, lots being produced. We do have a Viking going around just scouting for any Overlords to pick those off. We do have the third orbit command morphed in. We do have more barracks on the way. The tank on the high ground. Great positioning of the tank here, because really look at how well defended this area is. I mean, even a big Baneling bus won't punch through that easily. Meanwhile, the tank is just shelling away, and you've got to then get up here, and it's all awkward. So great putting tanks on the high ground. It's really annoying. Utilize the map to your advantage, guys. It's essential. The first infestors on their way out, and well, it looks like Toto not in a rush to try and take his third. He knows he could do good damage, and now this Overlord going down, he's going to temporarily supply block Censure, who is already supply block, getting 2 Overlords out. We've got the first 2 evolution chambers on their way. Double engineering bay, though, getting the 1-1 infantry upgrades out for the Terran. And, well, just looking around, not too much else is happening, just an annoying supply block. We've got more Overlords popping out. That is good. The double Evo. We've got no 5th and 6th gas yet. The third base just floating over here for the Terran now. That means that the tanks are unfortunately going to have to move. This amazing defensive position is going to have to come to an end in order to make sure that third base is defended. And infestors, burrowed infestors are on their way over. Oh boy, this could be fun. But there's of course a missile turret at the front. That means that the tanks will kill it should the infestors get any closer. But nonetheless, we do see now the infestors hidden at the third base. This could do some big damage. Here comes all of the SCVs. All of the SCVs! No! Oh, come on, infestors. Okay. Are you going to go for the unburrow and chain fungal approach? Or are you going to go for the stupid numbers of infested Terrans? Or are you just going to wait for the Marines? The Marines are moving away. The tanks are moving forward. This is all very tense right now. There's even Marines sitting there being like, guys, I am going to keep an eye out for anything here. The 1-1 upgrade's coming out for the Zerg player as well. Now, of course, the lair is done. No sign of hive tech yet, though. Just taking a look around. No Baneling nest either. That's quite a strange, interesting technique there. Now, drops are going to play really critically here because of the amount of space coming down. But we do see an infestor there already, so we should see a fungal growth. There we go. All of those Zerglings coming in, and those Marines are going to do very little. Those 3 infestors really ought to do something. That medevac getting away with just enough health to not die. These infestors are moving, so clearly they are aware they should be doing something. They're just a bit confused as to what. A missile turret at the front now, and that second missile turret's going to find them. Oh my god, that is going to be so frustrating if they don't do something now. Censure, do something with those infestors, because there's a missile turret any second. Oh, there we go, and the infestors are suddenly going to die. They're just going to chuck out those infested Terrans anyway. Just be like, we're going to die anyway. We might as well have some infested Terrans everywhere. I mean, we can kill some supply depots or something. That'll be productive over our day. Meanwhile, we do have that one infested trying to hide. All of the supply depots will go down though. That's going to be annoying. It does supply block Toto, so he's going to have to build some more of those at some point. A scan goes down, but the infested trying to sneak away, but not towards the missile turret, and a tank blows it up, I do believe. And then that was all of the burrowed infested play that had so much potential. Unfortunately goes down. Hive is half done now. The macro hatch out. We do have an expansion coming down here. That is inevitably going to get cancelled. Unless those Zerglings suddenly get a lot faster. Unfortunately they don't. They are on their way though, so maybe that drop will get cleaned up. But the third base is where I go with that drop, so I bring all of my units down here to defend it. We do have some spore crawlers being built. Drop play really heavily influencing how Censure is able to play this game at the moment. We do have 3 supply depots on the way out. Another command center in production down here. Where's that going to go? Perhaps the middle? We'll wait and see. Anyway, we do have these Zerglings trying to get into a very, very awkward position here. The infestors are there, though, so fungal growth are going to go down. That medevac will not be able to get away. The spore crawler is finished. Is there going to be chain fungals? No. Wow, that's quite surprising. Meanwhile, we've got drops coming down to the main base as well. And just constantly aggression everywhere. The harassment is just huge. We do have creep tumors getting picked down everywhere because you do not want creep in your base. So that's one thing Censure has been doing really well. Spreading creep absolutely fantastic. The Ultralisk Cavern on the way. No sign of a Spire yet. We do have the 2-2 melee upgrades on the way down for the Zerg. Meanwhile, 3-2 on the way for Toto, who will probably start 3-3 very shortly as the +2 infantry armor about to come down. Now, those chain fungals killing an awful lot of Marines very cost effectively. That has leveled up how cost effective these two have been engaging so far. Adrenal glands make those Zerglings all the more scary. But looking down here, obviously, this is just a very, very strong defense position from Toto, who's been playing very defensive all game, minus the harassment. I mean, he harasses lots and overextends his units somewhat, and makes up for that by having a very strong defense position onto supply depot walls, etc. Now, we do have the 4th base trying to come over. I would advise against that due to the fact that the Zerg army is there. We've got a big engagement coming in here at the moment, though, and those tanks, of course, do have the +1 attack, but unfortunately the Zerglings are soon to have +2, which means the one-shotting of the splash will end shortly, which is always bad times. Meanwhile, though, those medevacs picking up some stuff. They're all clumped up, though, and a fungal growth gets all of the medevacs. Oh, that is painful to watch. That is very, very unfortunate, but that is why you don't clump up all your air units, especially with infestors around those tanks moving forward. The 4th base is going to land. That's going to become a planetary fortress. The center base has been taken, though, by Censure as well. So this center ground is going to be so highly contested, and if the tanks get up here, well, then you can say bye-bye to that center base's Zerg, because the splash and the range of those tanks will kill you. Now, looking around here, we've got 6 Ultras on the way out, 3 more as well. We've got the Ultra Armor upgrade coming down as well. 3-3 upgrades are half done already, though, for Toto, and no sign of 3-3 yet for Censure. He needs to start then. There's the +3 melee attack. Will the armor come down shortly afterwards? It should do. In come the Ultras, though, but this tank line is pretty big. The Zerglings are coming, streaming through. There's not enough medevacs to heal up these Marines quite fast enough. Fungal growth going down absolutely everything, allowing the Ultras to close down the distance, and this is a full retreat right now, but another great fungal growth goes down, and there's only a handful of tanks really holding off the onslaught of the Zerg army right now, but the tanks, they are coming in, they are splashing everywhere and anywhere. More Marines joining the fray, though. They should be able to clean this up now. Obviously, the tank protected up on the high ground, doing good damage, and for the moment Toto's still in this. He did take a lot of damage there, but Censure took a lot more, as you can see from the resources lost tab. And well, these Ultras, they have to be careful. A Marauder starting production now. You need a lot more Marauders if you're going to deal with those Ultras effectively. Quite a few getting killed. You can't afford to just lose Ultralisks like that. This center base is going to be really, really significant for both players, and these tanks, as they're slowly creeping forward, could start causing problems. You do have a Viking going around getting the scouting information. We'll see the 5th base being attempted to be taken by Censure right there, so maybe we'll see a little drop go down and pick that off, as we did see previously in this matchup. Looking around the map, what else have we got? Well, not very much. If I was in Censure's position now, I'd be thinking, okay, he knows I've got Ultras. What would really confuse him? Broodlords! He should definitely get that Spire sometime soon, because it is going to be absolutely essential to deal with the Terran army as the tank count gets higher. You need all of those lovely tier 3 units to effectively deal with things like siege tanks, because the Broodlords obviously throw the Broodlings at them, they outrange them, and then the tanks kill themselves, which is really, really funny to watch. Anyway, we do have the Marines about to die. The drop was kind of successful. We've got the hatchery down to 500 HP, so a second drop would definitely pick it off. It has also pulled all of the Zerg army back, allowing Toto to just move his force forward. The center base has been picked off as well, so this is just annoying. And of course, if you take a look, we do see that a 5th base has been taking the lower position. Zergling's running in from every angle, Toto taking its dominant position in the supply count, and to be honest, Censure looks like he could be up on the ropes right now. He's going to have to do some kind of miracle defense at the moment, because this 5th base does actually now put Toto a base up. Another drop going down. Is he about to become 2 bases up? We do have Zerglings running through, trying to go for counterattacks, but the stringed reinforcements on the way. A massive fungal growth goes down. That could not have got more infantry, even if it had tried. We do have this drop coming down. How quickly can this pick it off? The Viking even landing, being like, guys, I am not missing out on this party. And, well, we do see all of the drones burrow. That's a good move to go for, but the hatchery falls. That now means we have got a 3-base Zerg against a 5-base Terran. That's never fun, but fungal growths like that are even less enjoyable, unless, of course, you're Zerg, in which case you find them fantastic. And, well, this army amazingly just surviving. That is pretty luck right there. But, well, this could all end very, very soon, because Toto is nearly maxed out. He's got those 3-3 upgrades. He's getting the +2 vehicle weapons. We do have 3-2, I believe, for the Zerg melee army, but still no sign of the Spire. That tech switch, the essential tech switch to Broodlords, is nowhere in sight. It is literally probably, well, I can't think of the math off my head, but at least kind of 3 to 5 minutes away. And, well, that just means bad times. You have a Zerg run by trying to come down, but tanks just spread out everywhere, deal so much damage. And look at the resources lost tab. Over 7,000 more resources lost by the Zerg compared to the Terran, and that is bad times. And there is the GG from Censure, who just knows that there is nothing left he can do. So guys, if you enjoyed the cast, please subscribe, thumbs up, and like the video. Leave a cool comment below, and of course follow me on Twitter. And should you want any more StarCraft, flick over to my channel. I've got hundreds of games. But should you have seen them all, I will see you tomorrow for yet another new cast. Thank you very much for watching. I was Madals. This was an SC2 England broadcast, and catch you soon. Bye for now.